thanks for coming out to our favorite podcast, Behind the Shadows, at ComicCon New York. I'm really excited, as you know. How many What We Do in the Shadows fans do we have in the audience? It's a lot. It's a lot of fans. It's a lot of fans. So I'm really excited because it's the first time we've done this at New York Comic Con. And I'm super excited about our guests because 'tis the season. I fell in love with Beli. I call her Beli. Everyone who knows her and loves her calls her name is Belissa, but I call her Beli, and everyone who loves her does so as well. You might have seen her in a couple of projects. I don't know, like Hocus Pocus too. So without further ado, let's welcome Belissa Escobedo.
Breathing is so overwhelming, heartbeats are a hassle. Tell me, why would anyone want to be alive? Death might have a reputation before she arrives, but trust me, we have way more fun in the afterlife. We have way more fun in the afterlife.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, you guys. How many of you seen Hocus Pocus, the latest movie? Yeah.
Yay.
Yes. So we actually met on set of another movie that we can talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
Should we tell them what that movie is?
Yeah.
Do you guys want to know what that is?
Yeah.
It's a little
we should let them know.
DC film coming up called Blue Beetle.
Woo!
Yeah. Do you want to tell everybody who you play in Blue Beetle?
Yes, I played Milagro Reyes, which is our main Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes' sister, little sister. She's very different from my character in Hocus Pocus 2.
Very different.
Yes, very, very different. So excited for everyone to see that as well.
She's versatile, you guys, okay?
Versatile.
She's versatile. She
Yeah.
can do it all, okay? So we met, and I completely fell in love with you because you just had this aura about you. Like, you have this energy. And I was just talking to our friend, our mutual friend, who plays on our show, Doug Jones, who plays the Baron. Woo! And who plays in Hocus Pocus, it's Billy Butcher, and had the nicest things to say about you. And just kept gushing over you, like, and I was like, see, that's what it is. When you meet her, that's what people walk away with, right? And so I'm so glad that you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay, I'm excited because I want to start this right away. First of all, I mean, you're a fan of What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to ask you off the bat, what's your favorite episode thus far?
My favorite episode is from the most recent season, and it's when when we're talking about musical theater.
Oh.
Yeah, that's musical theater and performing arts high schools. I sent that to all my friends right away. I was like, this part right here.
And he goes to go see Wicked with his new love interest.
Yes.
With doesn't turn out to be the best for him. Didn't that suck? He finds his first love and then that happens. I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Guillermo. Half of the time when I'm filming, I'm like, really, guys? Really?
I know, as your character, I wanted to know, like, you must be in a constant state of, like, just sadness and, like, wow.
Yeah, the fact
I'm
that
really
I'm
not
smiling right
valued.
now is a miracle.
Yeah.
Like, I should be crying in the corner somewhere. But yeah, it's so true. Musical theater, it's funny because Winnie Holzman wrote the script to Wicked, and she also wrote My So-Called Life, and we managed to put both of her shows in one season. Like, the poster of my So-Called Life was on over the mirror in the living room, and then also Wicked was the show they went to see as a date. So, little fun fact, Winnie Holzman's everywhere in the show.
Fun fact.
Okay, so that's your favorite episode, or the favorite story. I want to ask you, if you were able to be part of the world of Shadows, which we would welcome you anytime, what would you love to play if it was possible? Like anything in this world of Shadows?
Honestly, this might be too on the nose, but I would want to be a witch. Those witches are so cool, such baddies.
Yeah, I could see that.
Really?
What kind of powers would you have? Like witchcraft, obviously, but like, do you fly? Do you not fly, but you like?
Oh, definitely want to fly. Yeah. Always want to be in the air, levitating. I'd love to be able to just shapeshift.
Ooh.
And also get the voice.
Oh.
Yeah, just completely shapeshift.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, would definitely shapeshift into Nadia a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
Just with their outfits alone. It's worth it.
Yeah.
I mean,
gotta feel how those corsets are.
Oh.
How are the costumes?
Laura Montgomery, who's our costume designer, just won the Emmy for designing costume. Shout out to Laura, who won the Emmy for designing costumes. She beat everyone in the category, and I can see why, obviously. I mean, you see the detail in those costumes that she literally, like, sweats, tears, blood over. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
so detailed.
So detailed. It's amazing. And speaking of witches, though, we have to talk about your latest project, which is Hocus Pocus 2, now out on Disney+. Check it out, you guys, if you haven't. But a lot of you checked it out already, right? How many people saw it already? Yeah.
Yay, I hope you liked it.
A lot of people. How was that audition process, like, going into? I always like to ask actors, how was your audition process for this?
Yeah, the audition process honestly took a little long, probably the longest process. It took like 3 months before, I first got the audition, and then it took like a month for me to hear back, and I was like, oh, cool, I didn't get it. Like, that was, because a month is pretty long.
Long time.
Yeah. So then I got that and, had a meeting with the director. And then in the first chem read, it was me and the other 2 girls who are cast, Whitney and Lilia. And so we did the chem read, and just immediately it felt like that, we just like were riffing off of each other. The script was very different when we auditioned. It changed a lot.
Do you think that was to, like, not give away too much of the story? Sometimes I notice they do that at auditions. They're like, here you go, and it has nothing to do with the actual story.
Well, that, and also just the script itself was like constantly changing. That ending wasn't our first initial ending.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what it was or no?
Well,
only if you can.
No, yeah. I mean, it's out. If you haven't seen it, that's on you. But so it turned into a much more like emotional scene for the sisters, and like more of a redemption for the Sanderson sisters. And before it was kind of just like, there they go again, the evil witches, bye. Yeah. But so I thought it was much more beautiful and really playing into that sisterhood, that bond, that loyalty.
I love that. They redeem themselves.
They do, because they're really... Gilbert says it the best. Sam Richardson, love him.
Friend of ours.
Yes,
Sam Richard. Yeah.
Yes, we know Sam Richardson.
Love Sam Richardson.
His character says it best. Of like, they were truly just misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the case with like a lot of like horror films or like genres where it's like, anything that we fear is just the unknown, right?
Yeah, and I think what we do in the shadows is also that. It's like about these vampires, all these mystical and magical, powerful creatures who are so funny and like just very normal.
Yeah.
And can interact with humans without always killing them, but they definitely do kill them.
For the most part, yeah. But that sometimes they do kill them.
Sometimes when they're hungry or just in need of a kill.
It's what's needed.
Yeah.
Kill or be killed.
Kill or be killed, truly.
I always say that, like, when I think of horror films, I always think about, like, the idea that, remember when you see, like, the Frankenstein or the monster going down the town hall and people are chasing them with torches?
Yeah.
Then I always ask myself, I was like, who's the real monster?
Yeah.
Like, who's the real monster there? Because that person's misunderstood, singled out, chased by, the majority, and being chased, and it's like, no, let's put a mirror right in front of it.
Yeah.
The real monsters are the ones with the pitchforks and the.
Absolutely. And that's something that I feel like in a lot of horror films in the genre, you have that moment where the audience starts sympathizing with the villain, whoever that is. Even, like Jason, you start, from Friday the 13th, you start sympathizing with him.
Yeah. You feel bad.
You feel bad. Like, all it was is those other monsters, the kids bullying and like, turning him into that monster. Right. But yeah, I feel like that's such a good part of horror movies is when a good horror movie can manage to make you like see why.
Because you're just nailed on the nose. Monsters are made.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like when you think of like kids, you know, like kids aren't born like mean or racist or like those things are taught, you know? Someone's teaching these little monsters.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga, where are you? Lady Gaga's teaching all little monsters. But it's like that idea. It's I love how that genre always intertwines into like real life and that like horror idea. But anyways, we're getting so serious at the podcast
really
for Behind the
talks.
Shadows. But I like it. I like having like real conversations with real artists and actors about stuff like this. Because, so how did you know you wanted to become an actor, a performer?
Honestly, like I just loved making people like laugh, like, you know, always attention seeking, constantly wanted, you know, people's approval in the sense of like, woo, you're so funny. But
That's every performer ever.
right, no, you want the applause. That feels so good.
Tinkerbell.
Exactly. And so then when I found like acting, I was like, oh, this is how I want, you know, to put myself out there. Started with community theater, loved it. And actually, I feel like the moment I realized I wanted to be an actor was when my friends and I in elementary school would like reenact episodes of Hannah Montana. And like, I was really in it. I was like loving it.
Did you reenact the finale, the last episode? With the window?
Yes.
And the music?
Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. That episode where she like, you know, reveals her double personality. I love that one. It would just be like
So you would reenact this with your friends just for fun, or like you put on like a little show, or just like
at recess. We would just be like right there, like by the lunch tables, just doing this, and teachers would pass by, and we're like, "What are you guys doing?"
That's so cool.
Yeah.
You catch like the Beli show at lunch.
Oh, for sure. I was just like, I'm the lead. I'm Hannah Montana. Otherwise, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Would you cast everyone else? Like you're saying you're playing this?
Absolutely.
Oh, so you directed as well?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Do you want to direct and like as a thing?
I'm a little intimidated by it.
Why is that?
Just I've seen like being on a set, the director, it's definitely a team effort, you know?
Yeah.
But that too, like you really have to trust the people you're working with. I think that's the biggest thing. I would be intimidated to like be with someone who we have those conflicting visions, and it just makes the process more difficult. But also you're carrying, just as much as the actors, you're carrying a production. You're really commanding the room, and you have to make those relationships.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we had a really great director on Blue Beetle.
We did, yeah.
So he's phenomenal. I think that talk about control, like taking control of the room and knowing what he wants, and like executing it. You know, which could be hard sometimes. Like I hear you when you say it could be intimidating.
Yeah, and all while being a good person to be around, like someone who you're not just dreading to work with.
Have you had some directors that you did not like as much? Spilling some tea?
Oh my God.
We don't have to say names, but the business is full of people.
The business is full of people, yeah. But definitely I've worked with some directors that, you know, you go to one director and it's like amazing and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, so that experience wasn't great. Like, so this is how it should be on a set, you know? So yeah, I think, you know, I'm sure you have too. I'm sure I've
had a couple. I'm trying to think of a scenario where when I first got started acting like years ago and I was doing like student films and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Those were like the newbie student film directors who were like, you know, they thought they were Scorsese already, you know?
Yeah, no.
So then I remember it was one scene, and I ended up using this as a character later on in another project. But it was like, it was noisy, there was like a plane going by, there was traffic, and I was like, because you need like, you know, silence for the scene, obviously. And I was like, oh, can we use this? And they're like, yeah, roll the camera. And I was like, oh, okay. So, I want to say that I love, and if I say one more thing, and he was like, yeah, we're good.
Perfect.
And I was like, I don't think we could use any of that. No, I know what I'm doing. And I was like, okay. And then cut to like pickups. If you know what pickups means, we didn't get it.
Yeah,
so later on, they're like, we need you to come back in. And I was like, why? I thought we got it. We didn't get it, right? And I was like, oh, okay. So it's weird to be in a position where you're like, you know, you think you might have an idea, and you're like, I think that we should probably not record while there's a plane and a train going by at the same time. I'm not a director or anything, but I think I know how sound works. But yeah, it's hard to say and like speak up, you know.
We have way more fun in the afterlife.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Throughout my personal journey and professional career, life has had its fair share of tricks and treats. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have access to therapy to help me through those tricky experiences. BetterHelp has made therapy accessible. BetterHelp Online Therapy will assess your needs and can match you with your own licensed professional therapist in less than 48 hours. If you ever considered therapy but thought getting started was too complicated or expensive, I assure you it's worth it. And BetterHelp takes all the stress away. You can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you don't have to be on camera if you don't want to. And getting therapy every week as easy as a few clicks on your laptop or phone. So many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional therapies in all 50 states. And they have a special offer for my listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/shadowspodcast. That's 10% off your first month of online therapy at betterhelp.com/shadowspodcast. Now back to the show.
Thinking about projects in your career so far, what is the next thing you want to do? Like, what are you excited to do? You played so many like different roles, and they're all different from each other. Like, what do you want to do next?
I definitely want to keep writing that process or that trend of like playing different characters each time, because I think that's the most fun part of acting. But definitely want to tap into horror. I think I've always wanted to. Had the brief stint on American Horror Stories, the anthology series, not the American Horror Story.
Anthology series,
yeah. Ryan Murphy did me so dirty putting me in that bucket hat. So dirty. So dirty.
I thought you looked cool.
Thank you. But initially my character was gonna die, and then they were like, oh, but you're so sweet and your character's so likable, like it'll be so sad. And I'm like, that's the point. Like, I want my head cut off, you know? Like, I want to be like bathing in fake blood by the end of this scene. And so that didn't happen. And so I was like, dang, like, yeah, I was in the horror, but I want to be killed. Kill or be killed, you know?
I think we're going to get those shirts made. I want to be killed.
I want to be killed.
Kill or be killed.
Exactly.
Just walk around with those. I think it's going to happen. I think it's definitely going to happen.
Hopefully.
You know?
I've been working on my screams, you know?
Yeah? You want to give us a
in the last two projects, I got to scream a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it fun though? I got to scream a couple of times on like horror stuff.
It just feels by the end of it, you're like, oh, I've been needing to get that out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that felt good.
Therapeutic.
Felt like a burp, you know?
Yeah.
Like just a really good burp.
Just get it out of the screen.
Yeah.
Get it out. Yeah. But if you were to pick like one specific type of horror that you were like, oh, this is what I would play, and this is what I would love to see come to fruition, what would that be? Maybe you can manifest it right now.
Ooh,
story.
Man, a full moon is coming.
Yes.
October 9th.
It's coming.
Is that today? No, that's tomorrow.
So
Okay.
perfect time right now.
Right, yeah.
Pitch me this idea right now, really quickly. I'm all ears. Elevator pitch. Tell me what you're thinking.
Okay, so I'm thinking really play into the fact that I look like 6 years younger than I actually am. Like a 12-year-old, very sweet, kind of bringing into like my usual characters of like funny, little cutesy. And then I just want to be this mass slasher, like just like major killer. And like the most brutal, where you're like, this 12-year-old girl is just like the worst villain. I think that would be really fun.
You just pitched a movie. Will you guys watch that? Yeah, right? That sounds pretty...
Yeah.
I love that.
And definitely, I love horror comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I love when a horror movie is funny. So would want it to be like horror comedy slasher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I genuinely love doing horror comedies. I have
Yeah.
one that comes out tonight on Comedy Central at 8 p.m.
I will be watching.
Called Cursed Friends. So check that out. It has an amazing cast. It has like
Yeah, that
Kathy
cast is
Griffin
stellar.
and like Nikki Glazer and Rob and Nicole and like it's just the list goes on and on. Like it's so fun to play with comedians who do horror. Like because usually you don't see those things together, but no one does horror better than comedians because it's just over the top. The screams and everything are over the top. But yeah, so that's coming out tonight. That's a self-loop.
Get that in there.
Someone told me they saw billboards on Times Square, so I gotta go check those out. Ooh. So I gotta go see those billboards in Times Square. Did you do that? I do that when like a film comes out and there's like.
We were literally just there, getting videos of me like, hey,
really?
Hocus Pocus ad, and like waiting and being like, that's my face. But yeah, no, it's surreal. I mean, Times Square, like.
I mean, it doesn't get bigger than that.
No, truly.
Yeah. And it never gets old. Like it's like every time I see a billboard or a project, I still get like, teenage me like excited and like want.
Right.
And, like, I want to go take a picture because you never know if that's gonna be the last one.
Yeah.
Like, you never know.
Oh
You're
my
like,
God, way to get morbid. Yeah.
Just because you never know. Like in this business.
No, you
like,
truly
don't know.
It could be 6 months or 2 weeks between projects.
Or 2 weeks. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. So you're like, I love them and I collect them and I take a picture and I become a tourist. One time I had somebody actually ask me if I wanted it because I was doing a selfie and they're like, do you want me to take a picture of you? And I was like, yeah. And I don't think they understood what I was taking a picture of because I took a picture and I was like pointing at the billboard and they didn't like my face is on it and they were just like, here you go. Walked away. I was like, thank you. That's me in the show.
Yeah.
That's me. And they're like, what? And I was like, nothing.
Nothing. Have a good day.
Have a good day, Sarah. They'll take pictures and like, but I actually love that because then it's like, it's my moment. Like I'm having this little like.
Yeah. And like what you were saying about like it being like for teenage you, middle school you, like for me, I just want to like take a picture and like send it to all my bullies and be like,
yeah.
See that? You see that? That's your girl.
Success is the best revenge. It really is.
And everyone would always say that, that's a common saying. And then when it happens, you're like, you're right. Like, this feels great.
Yeah, and I'd have to get like physical or anything or yelling. It was just like success.
Yeah.
Just as nice. Yeah. So what do you want to say to all your bullies who are listening to right now?
I want to say stream Hocus Pocus 2 on Disney Plus, and Blue Beetle will be out next August.
Well said. Now I want to see if anyone has a couple of questions. Our time is wrapping up with Beli, but if anyone has questions for her, if you want to line up to the side right here or on the side over there while we're talking, and then we'll take your question really quick. But in the meanwhile, we'll keep talking. Okay, going back. So when you got started, how old were you, like at performing?
Well, like community theater and all that, probably. I think. Well, my first play was in 5th grade, Willy Wonka the musical.
Oh.
I played Grandpa Joe. And
Wait, hold on. Can we talk about Grandpa Joe? What kind of character development did you do? Because in my head, what a bum. What a bum. Like he doesn't walk and doesn't work and his family's and then he gets the chocolate ticket and all of a sudden he can walk?
Exactly.
What am I alone in this?
Oh, nice. Convenient.
Is this weird? Does anyone else think that was weird? That he was in a bed, and all of a sudden, he gets his golden ticket and gets I can walk. Is that weird? Okay, how did you perceive it?
Yeah, definitely 5th grade me was just like, what a total bum. No. But kind of just looked at my grandpa and was like, yeah.
I could do this.
That's gonna be perfect. That's gonna be it.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a musical, and after that role, I think everybody realized singing is not my forte. And it was fun. What?
Why do you not sing at all? You don't like singing?
I like singing. I think most of the time when I sing, I'm singing as a joke, just because I don't want people to be like, damn.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you have such a cool voice. I guess who I was talking to about this, Doug Jones. We were saying that your voice is so unique and cool that I'm surprised you're not doing more animation stuff because your voice is so unique.
I know. I really want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like the best one, just in a booth, cracking it up,
Next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because your voice is so unique. That's one of the things that was your voice would be like no one can do her voice. Like she's the one that has to do that voice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Put me on Big Mouth.
Yeah. Ooh, I'll make a call. Nick Kroll.
Yeah.
Nick Kroll was on our show actually last season. And,
Yeah.
And I did his spin-off of HR. His spin-off.
Oh,
of
yeah,
HR.
yeah, yeah.
So
I saw that too. You were great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Playing a spider in that. Maybe we should make a call. Can we get Nick Kroll on the phone?
Yeah.
Just
Could we
make it
speaker,
back. Yeah,
FaceTime?
speaker on the phone. Make a phone call. But yeah, I think voiceover would be so good.
That would be a lot of fun.
Okay, so you decided that singing's not for you because for whatever reason you thought you couldn't sing.
Yeah. Well, also, I had 2 singing coaches be like, you should go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor and check that out. They were like, did you have asthma as a kid?
What?
They were like, interesting. Okay. You should see someone.
These are your coaches.
Yeah. And after that, I was like, I don't think we need to pay for vocal lessons, Mom. I think it's a lost cause.
I don't know. I think you can always carry a tune. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, carry a tune.
Yeah.
Oh, are you going for a question? Yeah. Okay. You could ask it right here because we can hear you. I don't want you to walk over there. I feel bad. You grabbed that cane and I was like, no, miss. Please sit down. I will take the question right here. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
We have movie night at my family since COVID, and we meet, we watch a movie and for a whole week, and then we meet on Zoom to discuss it. And it's
I love that.
and his family, my daughter, her family, my ex-husband and his wife.
Classic.
Still friends.
Wonderful. What I loved about it was how well the writing was as kids. That I'm a retired teacher. You sounded like kids, the 3 girls.
Uh-huh.
And what I didn't know whether this was ad-libbed or not, but oh my God, oh, you must have done
A
that.
lot of that was ad-libbed. Yeah, that was all.
I heard my granddaughter.
Yeah.
You sounded that way. And you just did a really good job. I wanted to.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
give a
so
hand.
much. Thank you.
See?
Very nice.
Does
Yeah.
that feel good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of whatever, but repeated it over and over again. Like,
Yeah.
Ad lib?
oh my God, was like at the top.
No, definitely. And I kind of just thought about like when I was 15 and how I talked, just so angsty and like everything is the biggest thing to ever happen right now. Yeah. But thank you. That means a lot. Yeah. I'm glad. I remember when you saw one of the previews, you like texted me and was like, "You look 12. Great job."
I did. I was in New York for the Disney upfronts, and it was the first time ever they had released the footage of the preview. And this was like months before everyone saw the preview, and they were only going to show it in this room, and you couldn't videotape or obviously. But I was watching it, and as soon as it was done, I like text her, and I was like, "Oh my God." You look like you're 12. And so cool, the opening scene where like the floor opens, the special effects, really well done. And that was just the sneak peek of the movie. So everyone got really excited in the room. You know, it was a big deal. And you're part of this, like, you know, you're part of history now. You're part of Hocus Pocus, like, history. That's huge. Yeah.
Well, when you say it like that, it's a little scary.
No, because you're going to be part of history for a lot of things, you know?
Yeah.
This is just the beginning of, like, many, many, many things. Speaking of improv, you're really good at improv. Did you ever take any improv classes?
Well, I went to this performing arts high school, a public school, and we definitely had improv classes. And I think my favorite thing that like really loosened me up like physically was clown class. I don't know if you've ever taken a clown class.
Clown and miming, too.
Yes. That really gets you, I mean, you can't talk.
Yeah.
And it's all like you make this character completely. Each clown is different. So I really enjoyed that. I feel like that really helped me as an actor.
Yeah, and that really does prove if you're good with comedy that it can be international. You don't need a language for it.
Yeah.
So if you can actually make someone laugh with your body movements, facial expression, you don't need to know the language.
Yeah.
Because the language of comedy is just your body and face. So if you can, you know, transcend that anywhere, that means you're actually really good at comedy.
Oh my God, thank
Like,
God.
You're doing it.
Thank God.
You're doing it. Okay, before we wrap up, because I know we're going to have the other half of the session, we're going to talk about shadows and questions and all that. But before you go, I want to ask you, and I've asked everyone on the podcast, if you had a drink at Naja's that was catered to you, just you, what would it be called and what would it consist of?
Oh my God.
So it's a cocktail. It could be anything. You can make it up. What's your favorite cocktail or make up on the spot? Whatever you want to do. I didn't tell her I was going to ask this question.
He did not. He did not.
So I might have stuck.
I think it would definitely be, you don't see the use of banana often enough.
You don't.
In a drink. So I'd want something banana and...
A daiquiri? Banana daiquiri?
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Or liqueur. Liqueur.
Liqueur.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. I feel like my friend already knows where I'm going with this. But I think it would be Minion themed.
Oh, yes, you love Minions.
I love the Minions. I love the Minions.
You love the Minions.
And it would be Minini Bellini. Yeah.
That's perfect. You guys, with that, let's say thank you to Beli for coming on the show.
We have way more fun in the afterlife.
If you haven't heard already, it's Smooth Sack Summer. That's right, this is the summer to keep your balls cool while still looking hot with Manscaped. The leader in below-the-belt grooming is making sure we all have a ball this summer by giving our pants partners everything they need to stay fresh. Dive headfirst into Smooth Sack Summer by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with our code SHADOWS. The Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 has everything you need to prepare that summer body. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Revival toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? Beach, lake, or shower, this razor will devour even the strongest eternal pubes. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code SHADOWS, manscaped.com. That's 20% plus free shipping with code SHADOWS at manscaped.com. It's Smooth Sack Summer, boys. Get on board or get left behind.
Hi. So Hocus Pocus is like such an iconic property and series and a big part of a lot of people's childhoods. I was wondering if there was any other series that you could, like iconic series that you could do a sequel to. What series would you pick?
Ooh, that's such a good question. Oh my gosh. I really love, and like on the theme of like horror, bringing back Halloween Town would be really cool. I'm sure a lot of us feel the same. And they're married now, the two co-stars. So like bring them back, maybe they have a baby, who knows? Maybe the baby is like involved in the like witchery, the Halloween Town stuff. Yeah, that would be a cool one. I don't know that Disney would let me do that since I literally was just in Hocus Pocus, but a girl can dream.
Never know.
You never know.
Never know. You are part of the Disney family.
Yes.
So, we can use them all over.
Yeah.
Good question. Next
Thank
one.
you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, for the representation. Just seeing brown people in like all of these like magical shows. I am such a big fan of like magic and things like that. Harvey, you essentially asked my question already, but I was going to ask for both of you, what is your favorite fall flavor? Are you a pumpkin spice or are you an apple cider? Is there anything else I can't think
That's
of?
a really good one.
Really good.
Yeah.
Are you pumpkin spice?
You know what? I think there's some stigma around pumpkin spice, all right?
Get down to it, guys. This is the time.
Pumpkin spice is great.
This is safe space, okay?
It's a good
It's
flavor.
really good flavor. My sister and I, we wait till the day it comes out at Starbucks. We are at the door waiting for it.
It's really good. I
asked us
love
to leave.
pumpkin spice things.
They've asked us to leave.
Are you trying to camp out?
No. Well, they should have it sooner, is what I'm saying. So when I'm at the door knocking and they haven't opened.
You go in every day, you're like,
Yeah.
where's the pumpkin spice?
Where's the pumpkin spice? It's just, anyways, the league, I can't talk about it. Legally,
Getting emotional, getting frustrated.
Legally, I can't talk about it because my lawyer's in the bag and telling me to stop. and we haven't resolved everything. But I like pumpkin.
I think I would say pumpkin
also
spice.
like cider donuts.
Ooh.
Those cider donuts. You guys like those donuts for fall?
Yeah.
Those are so good. And I feel like that's an East Coast thing. So when I'm in the East Coast, like you'll get them in Boston, you'll get them in Salem, you'll get them in New York. And then you go to West Coast and it's like, what? Like in LA, like you're like, can I get a cider donut? They're like,
No, but we have a kombucha donut.
a kombucha donut?
Yeah.
Oh, what does that taste like? And it's like, we don't know. Okay.
We don't try them.
Don't try them. We're in LA. It's like, okay, cool. But I like cider donuts and a pumpkin. Now I want one.
Yeah.
Great.
This
Way to
really
go.
got
Great
me.
question.
I'm so sorry.
No, thank
I'll
you.
deliver it to you.
That was really good. That was a good
That was
question.
great.
Yeah. Hello.
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 I had to think of a new question because the other person asked my question because it was amazing. And Halloween Town's my favorite Disney Halloween movie. I mean, Hocus Pocus is very close, but so fantastic
I get
choice.
it. I get it. I get it.
And I guess this is a good segue into the shadows section because I was wondering, my backup question, if since you're also a Shadows fan, if you have a favorite Laszlo / Matt Berry pronunciation of a word.
Oh my God.
I mean, this question's for you. I'm like answering the question for her. Meaning like, oh my God, well, there's this one, and then there's that one. I mean, I've used that one over and over.
What? Go. The
Bat?
Bat? Bat?
You just had that new one.
I think, again, going back to my favorite episode of like, oh, what has the Dark Lord brought? That, I think when I heard that line, I was like, 10-second rewind. 10-second rewind. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Those
Thank
are pretty
you.
good.
Thank you. I love that question.
Still stick with the bat over and over.
I mean,
Although
it's-
last season he did New York City. What is that one?
Or like Manhattan.
Manhattan, which actually, little history about that. Manhattan is the proper way to pronounce Manhattan that the natives pronounce. So he's actually pronouncing it the way he heard it the first time he came to America.
What a detail.
So Manhattan is not how you pronounce Manhattan. It's Mannahatta. And he actually pronounces the way you're supposed to. Boom!
Boom. Mic drop.
Fun fact. Okay, so we can move on to the question. Do you want to stay up here and just answer questions with me for Shadow?
Oh my God. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, we're gonna like let her go and stuff, but I'm having so much fun. Should we just have her stay with me, right? Yeah. Do it. Okay, if you have a question for Shadows, line up over here because we got some time. Yeah, Matt Berry and his like enunciation of things. Like we were shooting yesterday. I was shooting last night.
Yeah, I literally came here from the airport.
Literally came from the airport.
Yeah.
I was shooting till 2 a.m, and then I got to the airport at 4:30, and then I got a 6 a.m. flight, and then I got here, and here we are at New York, Comic-Con, New York City. I love it. I love it. Okay, question over here.
Hi there. I think Guillermo is actually one of the best characters recently. There's so
Agree.
much potential.
Yes.
Because of he's gay. He's a Van Helsing. He wants to be a vampire. Do you think? I know you probably don't want to be, kind of pigeonholed with that character. But do you think there's like long-term? There's just so many possibilities with the character, like for other series or books. Or is there any? Can we see anything more with Guillermo?
I mean, I think that we kind of joked a little bit, like season 2, Kayvon and I, because we had so many scenes together, and the fans had really responded to their dynamic together. And lucky for me that I get to work with Kayvon, who's such, it's hard sometimes when you get to set and like you meet someone and hopefully you have chemistry. And when you do have chemistry, you're like, oh man, I want.
So easy. You're just
easy.
like, I love it.
Yeah, you get, like we
Yeah.
were like going back to like Blue Beetle, like there's like sets that you're like, I want to stay on the set for so long,
Yeah.
And there's some sets that you're like, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
It's like, but I would love for like, a spin-off or something where we land with Guillermo because we're picked up for season 5 and 6. We're a quarter of the way done with season 5 already. Wow. We started, we do quarters and we just finished the first quarter 2 days ago. And we started the next quarter last night. So we're almost like 1/4 of the way done, I guess. But I don't know whether he's gonna land on season 6 because they don't tell me ahead of time. Like I actually thought that he would be doing the Van Helsing thing for only season 2 and then going back to so he stayed with that through season 4, and then we saw. I mean, spoiler: who hasn't seen season 4 finale? Okay, so I can talk about it.
Okay.
So, he
Good,
takes
good.
matters into his own hands. He's tired of waiting, and he's tired of being pushed over, and that could be the best thing, and it could also be the worst thing, So we have to see what that outcome is, and where he lands at the end of season 5, and then where he lands at the end of season 6. So for all I know, who knows? It's like I would love it. I think a cartoon animated series or a comic book.
That would be so cool.
That'd be so cool. I want to see that badass Van Helsing side of him completely, kick ass. So
He could be Blade,
Like, I
Van
mean,
Helsing,
honestly,
A Guillermo video game.
video game.
like 300
Yeah,
years in the
that would be
future.
awesome.
You should do that.
Yeah, good question. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. First of all, I love seeing you hang out with Trixie and Katya so much. I would love to see
Yeah.
them on What We Do in the Shadows so bad. But I wanted to know from this last season, what was your favorite improv moment? Because it seems like there was a lot of it, especially in the Colin Robinson going to school episode, trying to get him in. So I was just wondering what that was for you this year.
I mean, yeah, you nailed it. I think that was probably that was the simplest set episode, it was just in a room. And it was like a play because we did so many setups, It was just like you're moving in, out, moving in, and your cues. That was probably the funniest one to do because we were with the bear. The bear was married to Kayvon, or Laszlo was with me. I was holding his hand, and then he leaves, and I still pretend that he's my partner. I was like, baby, please don't go. It's just jokes like that I didn't think were gonna be picked up, and they actually picked him up and they edited. That day was we shot that scene for 2 days, and then you see it for 8 minutes or 9 minutes. But man, with this group, improvising is just you don't know what they're gonna say, so you're always on your toes. You're just we call it playing hot potato, and no one ever drops the potato. Every time they have to tell us to stop. They'll stop playing, stop, because you'll keep going. We'll just keep going forever. In the season 1, we did an improv that lasted 22 minutes. Oh, straight. The whole show is 22 minutes long, and so there was no way we could use all that improv, but it was so funny, and it's still one of my fondest memories. Kayvon coming in, or Nandor, and he's like, Guillermo, and he comes I'm in the room, master, and he's like, Guillermo, I'm like, I'm in the room, Guillermo, and I was like, I'm in the room, just come to the room, and I'm like, ugh, and I exit, and he comes into another door. He's like, Guillermo, I'm in the room, and he's like, this guy, and he likes it, and then I come back in, and I'm like, where did he go? And then Naja comes in, he's like, you stupid, what are you looking for, And I was like, oh, Nando, he's like, he's in the other room, and he exits, and then Laszlo comes in, where's Gizmo going, and it was back and forth, forever, and it was the funniest thing, and you'll never see it.
I was about to ask, where's the footage for that?
We don't show bloopers. They keep them close in the vault. One day I think they will. I got this close to showing them on the after show. And we had ready to go. We had set up the video and everything. We got approval. And at the last minute, they were like, no, we can't show it. Just don't show it. And I was like, what? Why? And they're like, they're going to save it for something special, or save it forever and never show it to anyone. I'm hoping that's not the case, but I think they will show them eventually. But there's going to be, get ready. You're going to need to go weekend because there's so much footage. But good question. Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a very serious question, and it's been haunting my dreams, and I think you're the only person that can really answer this.
Okay.
What kind of sweater is best?
I knew this day would come. I'm really into a good sweater vest right now. It's fall. It's fun,
Yeah.
Like a good sweater vest?
Yeah.
You've rocked a couple of sweater vests. I've seen,
I like sweater vests.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sweater vests.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that was one of the hardest questions.
I think so. I really kind of took a second there. Hi.
Hi. My question is, Harvey, if you could switch places with anyone on Shadows, either cast or crew, who would you want to switch with?
Ooh.
I love that you added crew in there.
I know.
So true.
Good. I mean, if I did one of each, if I did crew, I would love to do the boom guy because he just gets to hear everything, and a part of me thinks that we're being spied on. We're not on set.
Right?
Because we're on microphones on our bodies the whole time, and so sometimes you'll be talking to us, we're like, oh yeah, and then it's like, oh wait, and then I heard, and you're like,
Yeah, literally. Also, I heard that doesn't work.
I heard it doesn't work.
That they
And
can
so-
just hear it and it's like slightly faded.
Yeah, and then so whenever like someone's telling me a secret, like, did you hear about? I was like, what?
Oh yeah, when you go like,
Yeah, yeah, and then you see the boom guy in the corner, like,
yeah. Or like, I'm always afraid like when you go to the bathroom and it's like a big one.
yes, and that's
like
happened.
a pretty big one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you're not helping.
Yeah, and then you come back. Yeah,
taking it off.
you come back and the boom guy's just like,
looking at you weird.
yeah.
Yeah, you're like, hey, what's up?
Like, hey, you took a little long.
Yeah. I would say the boom guy. That sounds fun. Character, I mean, I really do love playing Guillermo. I really do. And if I would switch it off, I don't know if I could pull it off, but I love when Nandor does his accent or when Kayvon does Nandor's accent because I try to do it and it's just so funny to me. So I would probably switch for a day, but not too long because it's so exhausting to probably do that accent all the time. So yeah, the boom guy would be number one. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, and I like your shirt. You're wearing a Guillermo's.
Yes,
Guillermo shirts and a Guillermo cosplay. Nice.
So my question was, you've both sort of broken into the superhero genre recently with Blue Beetle and Harvey as Nightwing and Harley Quinn. But if you were to play a supervillain,
Yes.
if you were to play a supervillain, what would your power be?
Ooh. Nice. What would be your superpower if you're a villain?
No, you go first.
Oh gosh. Okay. I mean, I've always liked like telekinesis. You know.
Okay.
So I want to be like, I guess I would be like, was that Magneto?
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's something like that, but I also want to have like something else. I don't want to sound like greedy, but that's it.
Supervillain, you can take on.
He's like, you know, oh, what villain would I do? I would have to have some kind of like great laugh or cackle, you know, and maybe a cat, you know, some kind of cat. But that's kind of Austin Powers.
That's kind of who I was gonna
Dr.
say
Evil?
what I wanted to be like, because like he doesn't have powers.
But he's so evil.
He's so evil, like, and the pinky thing.
Yes, and the way he treats his son, ignores him.
Yeah, and also, dude, mini-me.
Mini-me, yes. Okay, I think that answers that.
Thank you.
We're rebooting Austin Powers. Hello.
Hi, guys. I guess my question is, I mean, clearly Guillermo's ride or die with the vampires, but if he was to get disillusioned with the vampires, what other supernatural faction would he join in the city?
So if he did become a vampire, what other...
Or if he was to get disillusioned with the vampires, like he didn't want to become a vampire anymore.
Got it.
Would he join the werewolves? Would he become a witch, warlock?
That's a good one. I don't know. I think he's like he's committed to it. Like I think he wants to be that so bad. But if he wasn't, I'd say lean into the Van Helsing, you know? Like he's really naturally good at that. I think we forget sometimes that we're like, this is what would make my life so great and perfect if I had this job and this is my partner and this is where I live in the house. And sometimes the universe is like, okay, sure, but you'd be really happy over here, you know? So sometimes you gotta let go of things. And I think at that point, if he didn't get what he wanted, I'd say listen to the universe. Just, yeah. Listen to the universe. Yeah, all of us. Good question. Thank you.
Go spend time with your family. Like you're literally never
You
there.
haven't seen your mom in like 14 years.
Yeah.
Go spend time with your family, Guillermo. Jeez. Hi.
Hello. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you because I think everything you're doing in Shadows and in your career is changing the industry for the better.
Oh, thank you.
Truly.
Yes.
Like seeing you out there, like openly queer and a person of color and of different body types. I think I wanted to be an actor for a really long time. I have a degree in it, and at the end, I was like, LA is not for me. Someone like me who looks like me is never gonna do that. And to see you up there and being as successful as you are, it gives so many people hope as to what the industry can look like and what it should look like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You are an actor.
You are an
You
actor.
are.
Yeah.
You don't have to be in.
Yeah, and I hope
This
that
doesn't mean-
this is just a reminder that I was exactly the same mindset that you had because of what Hollywood told us was, you know, your leading person look like, what your leading lady look like, what your heartthrob look like, what your comedian look like, and you got to stop listening to those voices because we're the ones who go and watch a movie in theaters. We're the ones who want to be represented on screen. You know, if being a person of size makes Hollywood shriek, and it's like, what are you talking about? You know, most of America is average size. You know what I mean? And it's just like, where is this coming from? So you got to change the narrative. And so I took that leap because for so long there wasn't anyone who looked like me on television. And so if you don't see yourself represented, then become the first.
Yeah.
You know?
And now for my silly question. Shadows has had so many interesting mythological creatures show up. Sirens, the Jersey Devil. If you could have any mythical creature show up, what would you want it to be?
Ooh, well, I do like sirens, and the siren we had was half chicken. So I would like a mermaid siren. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big fan of mermaids, so when I read that on the script, I was like, oh, a siren, and I automatically assumed how presumptuous of me. And I was just like, siren, so like a mermaid. And they're like, no, it's a different kind of siren, a singing siren whose bottom half is chicken legs. So I would say like a mermaid siren. That sounds cool.
Thank
you hear that? Whoever's listening to Shadows right now? Yeah. Thank you. And revisit acting.
Yeah.
Revisit it. Yeah. Do it. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have way more fun in the afterlife.
Sling TV has something for everyone. All of your favorite shows on your favorite channels. All right at your fingertips. What you watch is totally up to you. It really just depends on what kind of mood you're in. So if you're looking for sports, Sling's got you covered with pro and college football and basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, racing, and so much more. Sling also has reality TV. I love reality TV. So you can keep up with the latest gossip on today's hottest shows on channels like TLC, Bravo, MTV, and more. And don't forget about news. Get up to date with today's most trusted sources like MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News. Feeling adventurous? Explore thousands of movies and shows. Shadows, hello, on demand. So what kind of mood are you in? No matter your answer, Sling has what you need. Getting Sling is easy. Sign up and start watching in just 5 minutes. You can stream on any device and record up to 50 hours with included DVR space. And the best part is you can pause or customize your subscription at any time. Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the TV you love for a price you'll love. Try it today.
Hi. So this season, Guillermo comes out to his family. And I was wondering kind of how that felt like for you playing that scene and kind of preparing for it.
Yeah, that's a good question. So it was kind of, it was weird because it felt so close to home. Like it was therapeutic in a way, but it was also like triggering because you're in that moment and telling, you know, you have to remember the reason that Guillermo came out is because he's had this like lie on his shoulders, not only about his sexuality, but that he worked at the railroad, that he worked at, got a promotion from Panera, that he owns this mansion, that Naja is his girlfriend, like the lies that keep piling on him, and that's a heavy weight, you know, to carry on your back. And I think what was the last straw was that his chosen family, which is Naja, and his biological family were about to destroy each other. And he got in the middle of both of them. His chosen family protecting Naja and also protecting his mom and his aunt and grandma and his cousin, all of his family, just because that was the last straw. He couldn't take it anymore. So he was made to like say, he's like, and I want to be a vampire. I live here because I want to be a vampire. And Naja's not my girlfriend because I'm gay. You know, and just saying it was just the last like breath of like, you know, and that silence of like, and it felt so emotional to me because being a queer person and having my own coming out story, I know that what we reflected on screen was really lovely, that the family was really accepting. And I was lucky enough that my family was accepting too, but that's not always the case. And so for me, it was more putting myself in his shoes, fearing that they wouldn't accept him. And that fear, like petrified, and thinking back, it was just like where I got more emotional and teary-eyed because it was like, what if they don't accept me, you know? And then we lightened it up with a joke, which was, you want to be a vampire, you know? And they don't care about the gay part. They're like, we don't care about you want to be a vampire, you know? That was and that's where we landed. And we were still making a comedy, but with the really cool, you know, message. And it was just nice to to tell that story, especially from a Latino family point of view, because it's not always the same, for everyone, but it's not always the case that it's really welcoming. And maybe by leading by example, it would have been nice to, like, someone sees that and says, "Oh, I think my son's gay. Well, this comedy thinks it's all right." You know what I mean? It's just like, then I guess it's okay to be gay, So hopefully that's the case. But it was very kind of therapeutic, and it brought me back to my own story. So good question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hi.
Hi.
So you do so well on Shadows, but you did like such a good job, as did Grayson on Harley Quinn. So how did you prepare for that? So, like, did you read the comics or watch anything to prepare?
Well, no, I've been such a fan of Batman, like, for years, and the idea that they asked me to, like, read for him, like, to play, Dick Grayson Nightwing, I kind of took the idea that he was, basically Batman's apprentice, or Bruce Wayne, and he mimicked him and he would idolize him. And so the way that I chose a voice for him was that he grew up watching this guy. He wanted to be Batman. He wanted to be at his level. So he has, like, a little bit of, Bruce Wayne, like, his voice is down here, just like lower. I think it's just about the right amount of serious, So his voice is lower because he wants to be taken serious. He doesn't want to be a joke. And then when he does let go of that persona, we get to see the real Dick Grayson, which is sometimes kind of loud and flamboyant. And he's just like, I'm going to kill myself, It's just like ideas are like, that's his real voice. That's his voice. But then when he's putting on this, like, I want to be, taken serious. I want to be taken serious. It's like he goes down an octave. So he goes lower because he wants to be taken serious. And that's the only way he gets respect. Because if people hear him in his real voice the whole time, people are like, I don't take you serious, So that's how I prepared for Dick Grayson. And luckily, the showrunner and everyone loved it. And we're back for another season. Yes. Picked up for another season. More Dick Grayson coming your way. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hi there. First off, like someone else mentioned, thank you for creating a whole new archetype of action hero. It's awesome just to have that out there now.
Thank you.
So the question I had is, this past season, there was an episode that I thought was just going to be a bit for about 5 minutes, and then you guys went whole hog on the Go Flip Yourself episode.
Oh my God, yes.
What was that line reading, like table reading like? What did you do when you found out, we're doing a whole episode of that?
I mean, if you notice, we sprinkled it in early on. You thought you were watching a commercial for an HD TV. That was actually our footage, and it was the Scar brothers, who are so funny. It was these twins who were comedian, they're so great, right? You guys, they have their own podcast, have their own show coming out. They're so funny, and that has to be one of my favorite episodes last season, because from beginning to end, it is ridiculous. We actually got, like, the same people who work on those TV shows, like, to do, like, the idea behind it. And if you listen to the voice, you hear the voice, and they're like, Staten Island is a cozy place where you can live. Like, that's the voice.
Oh my God.
And so it made it look so real. Like, it felt so real. And no spoilers, but, like, at the end with Nick Kroll, like, I couldn't, when I read it, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is genius. Like, it's so funny. And to set up a joke that in an episode that much, and then we kill Toby, like, Toby dies, and there's a person, and it's like, so Toby wasn't real? No, that was a real man.
Yeah.
He was a family.
Yeah.
He has kids. And you're like, oh my God. It's just like the tragedy upon tragedy. And then just to get the curse witch hat, like, it's insane. There it is, right here, the curse witch hat.
Oh my gosh.
It's literally insane. And that's just a credit to our writers and how brilliant they are, that was like, who thinks of that? You know what I mean? And we thought it was a one-time gag, but it kept going from every episode, a little sprinkle. And it's one of my favorites. So yeah, great question.
Perfect episode.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. Okay, when you finally become a vampire, who would you pick from the current cast to be your familiar?
Oh, wait, do they lose, like, anyone from the cast?
Yeah, well, okay, like from the current vampires that live in the mansion.
Okay, I think I would make, like, someone who you least expected, like Laszlo, because he's so like hoity-toity, that I would love to see him pick up laundry. And like, like in season 1 when he's like, Gizmo, how are the dildos, Why don't you go try them, Laszlo? You go try them, yeah. I would love to like just boss him around. Like Laszlo would be funny to boss around. I don't know if he would do it, but he would be, reluctant familiar. Yeah, I'll do it. Laszlo, that's a good one.
Okay. Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Okay, when you become a vampire, what would be your catchphrase? Like Laszlo has like bat, like what would be yours?
I think that maybe he would have his own version of bat, but it wouldn't be as dramatic. Maybe it would be more like, bat, just like trying to take flight, or a higher pitch bat. I don't know. Maybe another catchphrase. What would be good? What would be a good catchphrase for Guillermo if he's a vampire to take flight? Like maybe in Spanish, like vuelo,
Yeah.
like that'd be fun. Yeah, maybe that.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I could just see him being like, here we go.
Here we go. Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ooh, Guillermo and Nandor. Hello.
Hello. So, what was like your favorite moment from like filming this past season?
This past season, probably filming the baby Colin Robinson trying to get into school with the head, the head of the school there. It was just funny to do brain scramblies on him. Also, the Scar Brothers was really fun, and I'd say my favorite though would be the action stuff and the Hearn, which is the night market scene. That was like a mini movie, and we had like fairies and we had sword fighting, and I fall over and then do stunts. So that one was really fun to do. I think that one was like a mini movie, and it was just action packed. So I think that was my favorite one. Yeah, the night market.
Can I ask you a second question?
Sure.
If you had to pick like one episode, either that like was fun to film or just that you enjoy watching back, like do you have a favorite episode out of the entire series?
Ooh, that's tough, because that's like 4 seasons of stuff.
Yeah.
I think this last season, the one that touches my heart the most is the coming out episode of Guillermo. So aside from the action stuff, which is fun to do and entertaining and visually stimulating, stuff when it has heart like that really does feel good to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it feels nice to like have that in the middle of a comedy. Remember, we're making a comedy out of vampires, and in the middle of all that, we got this human being who came out, which is really nice and sweet. Yeah. And I had so many people come up to me at cons and saying, Guillermo's bravery at finally coming out shows you that there's no expiration date, there's no like ticking, clock and time bomb says, you must come out before. And it's like, when the time is right, it's right. And if you feel like doing it, you're doing it. And if you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's the message. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I love the costumes.
How did they film baby Colin Robinson? Like, was
there was
random
4
toddler?
actors. We had like a toddler, we had like an infant, and we had like a grade school, and then we had like a teenager.
Yeah.
And so basically we just shot with them. We never saw Mark on set.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we would act with the one who dances. It was actually she dances. She's the lead in Sesame Street. Yeah, so her name's Violet, and if you see Sesame Street, she's so talented, beautiful golden curls. Violet, that's baby Colin Robinson.
Wow.
So when baby Colin Robinson's dancing, it's like, in olden days and tap, and like that's really them, because they're phenomenal, like Broadway singer and dancer. We got the best of the best, and then we cover their face.
I was gonna say, like, is it?
Yeah.
But they could see, obviously. They had like little.
Well, no, we actually recorded them with nothing in their faces but little like dots, where we would put the CG and stuff. But like I felt so bad because they're doing this amazing performance and we're all clapping for them, and they're gonna be like, I'm gonna be on What We Do in the Shadows. And then imagine them turning on the TV and they're like, what?
Yeah.
And it's just like Mark's face on their
like,
body.
That's my body, I swear.
Yeah, that's my body, I swear. Sure it is. Take her away, boys. It's just like, no. But yeah, I felt so bad for the kids because they were like so excited, and the one that I had when we're in the basement and it's flooding, in water, like we were really like up to like knees. I was worried because the water was up to like, the child's like body, and so like I had to like pick them up, and I found out that day that child actor, it was their first day acting ever. And so I was like, oh, and they're like, so if he's a little fussy, and I was like, okay, and he has to have a hammer, and he's swinging the hammer around. I was like, oh
my God,
oh, this is great. The hammer's like, phony and whatnot, but still, he's like swinging it. But he went for it, and I was like, he loves what he's doing. You know, it's just like he's gonna be a great actor because he hits me with a hammer. So, great question. Next question.
Hi, thanks for being here. So Guillermo's my favorite, and poor Guillermo ends up in the most unfortunate circumstances all the time.
All the time.
Like buries dead bodies, gets shipped to London in a box, and my favorite was gets into a familiar fight. So what's your favorite unfortunate Guillermo circumstance, either to film or just that you think is funny?
Probably the familiar fight. I think that one of those moments where he didn't want to fight at all. Like he's being pushed to fight, and then he beats all the familiars, and then he gets somehow involved in fighting his master. Yeah. And it's like, how does he get in these situations? It's most of the time, honestly, it's Nandor. Like Nandor, he like volunteers and he's like, my familiar can kick your familiar's ass, you know? And it's like, stop saying stuff like that, you know? So yeah, I would say that, the familiar fight.
And
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick second question?
Sure.
When you read for Guillermo, had you watched the Shadows movie before that? Or
No,
were you
I had
just
not
going in
seen the
blind?
movie at all. And I'm glad I didn't because it was so good that I would have been psyched. So I think we have to wrap it up now because I think we're closing it up. So they're telling me wrap it up. So, what was your last question?
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a scene in episode 2 when you get on top of a coffin, you yell plancha, and then you do a plancha.
Yeah. That was not in the script.
Was that not in the script?
Not in the script. That was ad lib.
Are you a lucha libre?
Yeah, we grew up watching like lucha libre and stuff, so I threw that in, and they let it in. So
It was brilliant. I saw that and I was like, that's a Mexican plancha.
Yeah.
That's not an American plancha.
And they made it! Woo! Thank you so much, Beli. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Sure.
Thank you all of you for coming out, and I hope you have a wonderful New York ComicCon. Don't forget to watch all episodes of Behind the Shadows on your favorite place to listen to all your podcasts. Have a good night.
Behind the Shadows is a production of Straw Hut Media, hosted by Harvey Guillen, produced by Ryan Tillotson, Amada Sanchez, and Tyler Nielsen. Original music by Trevor Bumgar and Chris Hendricks, vocals by Maggie Glass. If you don't already, subscribe wherever you're listening, and make sure to follow Behind the Shadows podcast on Instagram for more behind-the-scenes content. And tune in live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific on the What We Do in the Shadows subreddit for an AMA with Harvey and special guests.
Breathing is so overwhelming, heartbeats are a hassle. Tell me, why would anyone want to be alive? Death might have a reputation before she arrives, but trust me, we have way more fun in the afterlife. We have way more fun in the afterlife.
See you next week.